96.7 Kcal Rocks, man. We got a huge show coming up. 40 and I are really excited about it, man. It's November the 9th. It is the Beer Fest, man. We've been doing the Tour de Brews this whole 12-week period. It all culminates in a huge party, man. And we're going to be at the RMA. We're going to be having all these funky beers.
Right.
But we're also going to be having some kick-ass entertainment, including a band called In the End, man.
Right. It's a Linkin Park tribute band.
They are.
We've been seeing them all around social media.
And we have the lead singer with us.
Right.
It's Chris. Chris, welcome, man.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Now, dude, listen. You're doing, there's not a ton of Linkin Park cover bands.
Right.
Not an easy singer to cover, man. How did you decide I'm going to be the one?
Well, it was actually easy coming up with the idea because Chester was a big influence on me growing up.
Right.
So hands down, he's somebody that I followed, forever.
Absolutely.
And my band and I, we are all session musicians. We play together for about 5-6 years in different projects and everything. And so when 2017 rolled around and the tragedy happened, a few months after that, I just had the idea we should probably create something that brings back the community.
Right.
Because the community is broken and hurting and they need this right now. And so the idea was not to create a tribute band. The idea was to create community and bring healing to that group of people.
Wow, nice.
And so what we came up with was we don't want to do this unless we can partner with mental health awareness organizations and kind of spread that love.
Yeah.
And we did our first show right around this time last year at Viper Room on the Sunset Strip. And it's been just history since then. It's been insane.
We are talking to Chris. He's the lead singer of In the End, and that's what I was going to talk to you about. I mean, you've had a hell of a response with this band.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like you said, you're a studio musician.
Yeah.
Did you expect this to kind of take off like this?
No, I did not.
And I mean, because we were looking at your schedule where you're going, it's like Mexico. And I mean,
all over the
this
place.
looks like this could really blow up because I think you're right. This is almost going to be a way of bringing some healing to a bunch of the Chester fans, dude, and Linkin Park fans.
And that's the thing. We had no idea this was going to happen. The first show we did, it was like 45, 50 people. Then it was 200. Then it was 1,000. Then it was 2,000. Then it was 5,000. And so we didn't expect this, but we can't take credit for this because there is a bigger purpose for what we're doing.
Right. Talk a little bit about that. Like, that is kind of the cool part, that not only is it turning into a healing thing with the music and stuff, but also with mental health and all that kind of stuff.
It's really fascinating.
What are you guys tied to, and exactly like what is the partnership and that kind of thing?
So we have a partnership with Change Direction, and Talinda Bennington is part of 320 Changes Direction, which is a subsidiary of Change Direction, and we have a partnership with them because they were the biggest national mental health organization that exists.
Okay.
And so we just reached out to them and we told them this is what we're doing, and they loved the idea. They loved a partnership, and so anywhere we go, we're talking about Change Direction mental health on stage. We have pamphlets. We have the people from Change Direction there to help out, because I will say every single show there's 5, 10, 15, 20, sometimes 50 people that come up to us and say thank you so much. I deal with depression and anxiety. A couple stories is like I tried to kill myself 2 weeks ago, and this is needed, and we didn't realize this. We didn't realize this.
Yeah, and I don't think that you realized that you're going to turn into a dual threat, like we keep saying, kind of like with the music, but then also with mental health. It's like it's a double whammy.
Right, and it's something I'm passionate about. I was passionate about for a long time.
So you're like, whoa, we're going this direction.
We are. You see, a tribute band has an interesting stigma about it because you think wigs, you think, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And this isn't what we came out to do. We came out to honor the music and honor Chester, but also that bigger purpose.
Now, was this style of music, you said you were a session musician before, was this kind of what you were doing, or are you like falling into this now? And like
100% what I was doing already, man. Like I'm from Dallas, Texas. This is a real big metal scene, right? And so I was in the metal bands and I was screaming at 15 years old, and
dude.
I do have to, as a session musician, I do have to adjust to the mainstream and the pop and everything. But when I get that work in, man, that's like hardcore rock. I'm just like, thank God.
One thing I'm curious, you said as you were coming up, huge in the metal scene, and you were developing that your vocals for metal. I don't think a lot of people give that enough credit. Like that growling, I mean, you really have to develop that. Like, what was the hardest part of that as you were trying to develop that sound?
Yeah, it was to get over the ego and just like understand that I need to learn and develop how to scream. I already had the emotions of anger already.
Is it just like thrash the voice, recover, try to thrash it again? Or because you have to scream in such a way, right?
That's what it was.
Right.
Whenever I was first learning how to do it, and I was blowing my voice out in 10, 15 minutes.
Right.
And then I found out that there was a way to do it.
Right.
There's a way to scream, especially if you watch, like, take Chester for instance. You watch his early stuff back in the 90s, and he's blowing his voice out and he's going all at it. But his later stuff, he was more controlled and he sounded better too. Cleaner.
Yeah.
But even his screams were more passionate, more scream
Controlled, like you said.
screaming. And so it was funny because I would go to a local fitness center in Dallas, Texas. I'd get on the treadmill.
So, I mean, is it like a muscle?
Right. Yeah,
Is
it's
it like a muscle,
It's
dude?
a muscle.
Yeah.
And so I'd be singing and doing my vocal warm-ups on that treadmill, and we would always get made fun of. I go with my bandmates, and we'd always get made fun of because nobody was around us on the treadmills.
Right.
Because we were just making too much noise.
Man, this is going to be a hell of a time. It's November the 9th. It's the Riverside Municipal Auditorium. So many good things are going on. Yes, it is the beer fest.
Right.
We get to drink lots of funky, weird beers. But it's also for a good cause. In the End is going to be there along with some other bands, dude. Chris, this is so cool what you're doing,
Thanks,
dude.
man.
We cannot wait for Tuesday, November the 9th, man.
November
I'm
9th.
super excited.
It's going to be a ton of fun. Tickets are still available. You go to riversidelive.com. In the End's going to be there. Our buddies from Electric Ash are going to be rocking. And then a bunch of these rock stars of tomorrow, which, if you haven't seen, when you get an 8-year-old up there on drums and they're shredding, it is insane to watch.
That's right, man. Chris, we can't wait to see you guys, dude.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it. We're going to be out there drinking beers with you guys too.
See?
So let's make it happen.
Let's do it.